With practice and qualifying in the books, Brian and I get you set for 600 miles at Charlotte Motor Speedway. We have the Coke 600 coming up on Sunday, following Monaco, following the Indy 500. A full
Hopefully, the
day
Indy
of
500.
a full day of motorsports action. Will get you set for who needs to be in your DraftKings lineups, who needs to be out of your DraftKings lineup, and take a quick look at the updated odds boards as some drivers have moved pretty significantly. All of that and more on today's Angle of Pursuit podcast.
Ross Chastain used the wall all the way around this racetrack.
Logano has been the class of the field.
Check out the big brain on grass.
Yeah, I need to change my underwear.
Brian Twining, practice done, qualifying done. We know the running order. Everything is ready. We even have odds ready to discuss in terms of outright. So all is well. How is everything down in SoCal?
Yeah, everything's good, man. Practice and qualifying were semi-uneventful, I guess. You had the single spin by William Byron, which kind of threw off his practice times. Sure looks like he's got a damn fast car. And then, we got to see the Xfinity race, which every single week that series delivers a fantastic race. And of course, your boy, backed Gator, who, if you ever see me tweet backing Justin Allgaier, make sure you fade the shit out of that, because I simply cannot win a bet when I bet for Justin Allgaier. I had him on a top 5, which was looking like a sure thing until it wasn't. And yeah, qualifying, it got kind of scary that maybe we weren't going to get it in because there's some stupid storm system rolling in. But yeah, Ty Gibbs, team no lift. He just sent it into turn 3 and 4, put it on the pole, first career pole. We mentioned it earlier in the week. Like, this kid just continues to impress. And now the real task is at hand, is whether or not he can go 400 laps and lead this thing from start to finish and, get his first career Cup Series victory.
Yeah, we got a few things to dive into before we talk pricing and all that good stuff, because Byron looked like a rocket ship, and I thought no one was going to catch him. And then all of a sudden, as you mentioned, Tyrone in his first pole at his home track ends up getting there. Obviously, pushed it a little hard. Chris Buescher, who also pushed it a little hard, ended up pushing it a little too hard. Tyler Reddick will be starting in the rear on Sunday for modifications to his car between round 1 and round 2 of qualifying, right?
Yeah. And I mean, we haven't even dove into that yet, but you can basically eliminate Reddick, in my opinion, from DraftKings.
Because not only does he have to start in the back, but then he has to do a pass-through penalty. So
yep.
He's going to need a lot of luck to get through. So you'll want to pay attention to that when you're building lineups. I think that's everything for now. With that being said, let's look at some pricing and discuss what we want to do. As always, we'll build 3 lineups towards the end to see what we can put our thoughts and our notes and all of our practice into an actual lineup. So we have Kyle Larson starting 10th, 11K, on his way to Indianapolis, Indiana. We'll see what the weather does. We'll see what he does. About 600 miles on top of 500 miles in one day is a lot.
Let's
see how we feel about that. Denny Hamlin 10-7, Ryan Blaney 10-3, and the aforementioned William Byron starting second at 10K. Let's just do the Larson thing. Interested in Larson starting 10th, obviously the most expensive option. Obviously, in a standalone race, wouldn't even question it. He's incredible, was dominant in practice, looked so fast. But with that, 500 miles plus hopping on a plane plus getting to Charlotte, do we care? Does that matter? Are people going to overthink it and we should go to him? Are people going to underthink it and we should fade him? Like, where's your head at?
Yeah, you're kind of in a predicament here with Kyle Larson. The one thing I will say, though, is that with the possibility that this team does decide to potentially stay in Indy for the Indy 500, if it is delayed, essentially skipping the beginning or the entirety of the Coke 600, at least you have that 11K bankroll just built into your lineup that you've built to just plug somebody else in amongst these higher priced guys. So, I mean,
Yeah.
I guess that's one of the positives to look at with Larson. And also, like, if anybody is capable, we talked about this early in the week, if anybody is capable of just showing up at a track with like limited preparation and going fast, it's Kyle Larson. So,
Yeah.
yeah, he's going to be tired and all that stuff, but I mean, these guys are trained athletes. You could joke all you want about them driving cars, sitting and driving cars, but I mean, these guys are used to this type of stuff. And Kyle Larson in particular, like, he's a little dude, so I mean, I'm sure he's in shape as well. So,
well, and he's also, it's not like this is probably the first time he does like double duty in the same day. But these guys are all off driving dirt tracks and other crap during
exactly,
and coming back. So it's like, I don't know. It's probably a little overthinking on my part, but definitely interesting. Definitely won't have 100% on Larson, but we'll have some of him for sure. Beyond him, Hamlin starting 11th at 10.7, Ryan Blaney starting 16th at 10.3, and William Byron at 10K even. Do you have a favorite from that trio?
I mean, it's hard not to like Denny Hamlin starting 11th. I'm a broken record here, but 1.5. Denny is basically 1B to Kyle Larson's 1A in terms of who's the best in the sport right now, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So it's hard to deviate from him. And knowing the longevity of this race, like, I know he doesn't make a lot of mistakes. He can preserve tires, for instance, to potentially stay on track maybe 1 or 2 laps longer than everybody else because he did save his tires early in the run. So, I like Denny here. Blaney, I think he'll be fine. He could probably be sneakily under-owned, and so maybe you get some leverage there. And then William Byron starting second. We always talk about this. We talked about it with the betting stuff. Like, he opened at 10-1. Dude's habitually underrated heading into a week, and he's always somebody that offers value pre-practice, and yet again he proved it. So I don't hate getting to Byron, and maybe he's the Martin Truex Jr. of 2013 or whatever the hell it was when he led over like 95% of the laps. Highly doubt that's going to happen, but that is a possibility. So for me, it'd be Denny Hamlin and then probably Byron after him, even though Blaney offers so many more potential placement points.
Yeah, no, I think you're spot on with a lot of that. Looking at iFantasy races, total speed rankings for mile and a halves, Denny Hamlin is number 1. Was 7th at Vegas, but was 2nd at Texas and number 1 at Kansas, which is pretty special. Trying to pull up the stats from last year. Not that one. Because Byron was like awesome last year, dominated a lot of laps, and was definitely one of the guys you need. I could totally see him doing that again, jumping to the lead early and being as an early dominator. Love him at 10K. It's going to be hard to potentially squeeze in a couple of these guys, but yeah, I think for me, Larson and Byron are compelling. I think your Hamlin point is spot on, and unfortunately, Blaney might be the guy who gets a little squeezed here, but we shall see how that plays out. Let's talk about the 9Ks. We have Reddick, as we mentioned, will be starting in the back and having a pass through, starting 8th. Technically, Truex starting 4th, 9,500. Chase Elliott won the Xfinity race, starting 5th today, today when you watch this as a 9,300. Chris Bell starting at 9K. Interesting 3, 4, 5 here. All in that kind of low to mid 9K range. Anyone stand out above the others for you, or is they all kind of interesting as mix and match options?
Yeah, this is a really difficult range to get to because you're talking about guys who maybe weren't the fastest in terms of single lap speed during practice, but all showed decent, long run speed. And then you have the history of Martin Truex Jr. here, who I already mentioned, like, he's been the most dominant car here before. And, of this group, I personally, I got to go for the feels a little bit and go with Martin Truex Jr. He's owed probably 2 wins already this year, kind of in the same breath as Chris Buescher. So, I like Truex starting from the 4th spot. He's a little bit of a salary savings if you want to avoid, say, like Denny, or even possibly build a lineup with both of them. I think that makes a lot of sense. And then even if you get Larson, you add that with Truex or one of these guys. But yeah, this is going to be a difficult week because, as we get into the next range, you see a lot of big named guys who absolutely sucked in qualifying or didn't even run a qualifying lap, who are going to be very popular in lineups.
Well, and I also wonder, like, but these people obviously, Truex is compelling, Elliott's compelling, Bell is compelling, but with some interesting names coming up behind them, and then obviously, a couple extra hundred, and you can get to Byron, potentially Blaney. Is there a world where these guys get squeezed a little bit, or do you think?
I'm very glad you asked that question, because I just popped into my mind when we were as you were scrolling back up here. Looking at the top 3 most expensive guys and the fact that they're all starting in the double digits, I can only imagine that they're all going to garner 30 to 35% minimum roster percentages, which is kind of going to squeeze the guys in the next range who are all starting inside the top 5, Truex, Elliott, and Christopher Bell, who have all been really good this season. And, Truex and Bell in particular at 1.5s in recent memory have been 2 of the strongest cars. And so you're looking at guys that are going to be uber competitive, probably going to be a little bit less roster than the top of the top of the price board here. And so maybe there's a way that you get 2 of these guys in. And if you want to get really weird, you avoid all of the 10K drivers.
Yeah, I mean, you just skip right to the 9K and you throw 2 of these guys and then a couple 8K guys. You could have some serious fun. And I'm trying to figure out, because this ownership does have Reddick at like 27%, so obviously that's going to go away. So it'll be interesting to see how it shuffles out. But yeah, Chris Bell looks like the pivot of all pivots. We'll see if people actually end up on him, or if the confidence is a little shaken from the last few runs of results.
Yeah, and then just real quick, I don't want to completely disown Tyler Reddick from the show here for this week. Yeah, he's pegged as the 8th starting spot. He's got to start from the back. He's got it through the pass through. He's going to be a lap down early, but because this is a 1.5 miles, because this race is so long, he's going to get back on the lead lap. He's probably going to be riding, mid-teens, maybe 20s mid-race, and there is a possibility he's competing inside the top 10 late, but he just has such a harder route to that it's going to be really difficult to put him in a lineup over a Martin Truex Jr., Chase Elliott, or a Christopher Bell for me.
Yeah, and we'll have to look at betting odds might be a better way to grab a piece of him for a top 10, top 5, assuming the books are kind of adjusting for that. For DraftKings, I don't know how I feel about that, because you need him to climb at least back into the top 10 range, and then put together fast laps. He's obviously probably not going to lead until maybe very, very late. So I don't know, maybe.
Those 2 words that you just said, though, fast laps, the fact that he's going to have to start from the back, and he knows he's got to make up ground.
Yeah.
He's going to be pushing it.
Yeah. That also is part of what ends up him being in the pit lane, or being
that's what I was just going to say. He is back by the squirrels, and that's where your nuts get busted. So we'll see.
Yeah. Let us know down in the comments, who is your favorite option in the 9K range? So Reddick, Truex, Elliott, and Bell. Who's the one jumping out for you? Let's talk 8K. So Logano starting 28th, 8,800. He's clearly in love with this car this week. Brad K starting 30th. Busher starting 39th because of qualifying issues, not because of being slow, which makes him a compelling option. Gibbs starting on the pole at 8,300. Ross the Boss starting 7th at 82. And Kyle Busch starting 15th. Wide range of options. Got some Fords in the back. Got some, mid-pack guys. Got an early Dominator. Where does your eyes and your potential clicks go?
He looked like garbage, but one thing we know about Brad Keselowski is he's not he's not going to run the high line. Like that's not his driving style. And that's what was fast during qualifying. That's what was fast during practice. Tomorrow the track is going to transition from hot and slick early in the day, and then it's going to cool down as we get into the nighttime. And, in situations like this, I want veterans that have been in this multiple times. And so I think Keselowski, even though he didn't look good in practice and qualifying, that doesn't really scare me one bit. And then the same thing goes for Buescher. Like, this RFK team has been really good at tracks where tires have worn, or say they've been really long and you need to make a lot of adjustments. This team has been on it all season. So I think both of these guys, they're going to be heavily rostered, but they make a lot of sense. And then you want to get crazy, just put Ty Gibbs in there. Like, dude was fast in Xfinity. He was competing with Kyle Busch early. He was competing with Justin Allgaier late. Dude's got a rocket ship. Win is coming. It's just a matter of when. And I mean, why not be on it this week when a lot of people are probably going to be like, let me fade him. He's starting on pole. It's a little scary. He's a rookie or second Coke 600. Like, I think that makes a lot of sense. And then Chastain and Busch, I don't know. Just what are we going to get out of them? We're going to get tantrum Kyle Busch, or we're going to get good Kyle Busch and then Ross Chastain. Like, is he just going to be a mid-pack car all day?
Yeah, I'm a little more interested in Kyle Busch, which is something I never say. But I'm kind of interested. 8K, starting 15th, has been a top 5-ish car majority of the time. You do worry that he gets annoyed at some point and punts, but I think I think his upside and potential at this place is definitely worth taking a shot on.
Oh, sure.
I'm 100% with you on the RFK boys. I think Buescher makes a ton of sense. Obviously, going to the back of car is not ideal, but I think what the speed he showed in practice, they can hopefully find that, and then hopefully Keselowski can grab some of that as well. And a mid eights, I think both of them make sense, especially given where they're starting. They could grab track position, they can move quickly, and they could, be comfortably in that top 10 come the end of the race. And I don't hate the Gibbs call. Obviously, won't do a ton of it just because the other guys are so compelling at the top.
Yeah.
But I think we'll build one lineup with him as one of our early dominators, and we'll see what that does for us. Let's talk 7K. Alex Bowman starting 6th, Bubba Wallace starting 12th, Noah Gragson starting 19th at 7,500, Briscoe 18th, Eric Jones 34th, Josh Berry 13th, and Daniel Suarez starting 14th. Bunch of mid-pack guys. Obviously, Eric Jones at the back, Bowman at the front. Who's compelling here? Noah Gragson for me jumps off. But me and probably 30% of my best friends.
I was just gonna say that. Yeah. I think Gragson and Wallace are probably going to be the two most popular guys. For good reason. They've both been extremely fast. I do think that Briscoe is a good pivot off of Gragson. Same company, same garage. He's been pretty damn good. They said it today during the broadcast. He's been a top 10 machine recently. Like, he's just there at the end of races, and maybe he can do the same thing. And then, Eric Jones is a little intriguing because of where he's starting, but I don't know. I don't really trust legacy right now. And then Josh Berry, look, kudos to you, starting 13th. You looked great. He did a fantastic job pit road reporting today during the Xfinity race, but I'm not going to get there with him starting so far up front. And then Daniel Suarez, same thing. Like, he's more of a betting market if you like him, to maybe top 10 or something like that. But I don't have any faith that he's a guy that could move up a substantial amount of spots or even maintain here.
Yeah. Looking at Briscoe in terms of speed, he was actually really good at Texas. He was 8th in terms of average speed ranking, 18th at Vegas. Then obviously had a horrible Kansas race, but throw that one out, and his numbers look a lot better. I like Gragson. I think both of those cars make a ton of sense. I think your point on Bubba's really, really valuable. I think I still need another week of Eric Jones before I start to even really consider him.
Yep.
And then Berry and Suarez are probably easy avoids for me, at least at this point.
And just real quick on Eric Jones, like, this is just popping into my head. I know we're like 4 weeks removed now, or 3 weeks removed from him first coming back from that back injury, but we're getting into a race that's 600 miles. He recently, like 2 months ago, broke a bone in his back. He's going to be sitting in his car for God knows 5 hours, 5.5 hours. Like, who knows what type of toll this is going to take on his body and whether or not he's just mentally going to be able to be there for the entirety of the race to try to compete up front. So yeah, he's somebody that's a little scary for me, I guess.
Let's talk 6K. McDowell 6,900, Austin Dillon 27th at 67, Stenhouse 66, Todd Gilliland 65, Ryan Preet 64, Hocevar, Cindric, Jimmy Johnson, and John Hunter Nemechek round out the 6K range. A lot of back markers. Any of them extra compelling as relative to the rest of them?
Well, Stenhouse was a popular early week top 10 value play, and I like him for DFS too. He's starting 23rd. He's been pretty good here. He's always somebody to consider at fast, high speed 1.5s or the longer tracks. He's been running really well. I mean, despite his little run-in with Kyle Busch last week. Gosh forbid these two get close to each other late in the race. So we'll see some fireworks. But yeah, I like Stenhouse in this group. And I mean, this is disgusting because I've gone there once before and it bit me in the ass. But John Hunter Nemechek, he wasn't fast during practice, but I did like his splits. And, I think starting 26th, I know I already badmouthed Eric Jones with Legacy, and yeah, Nemechek's in the same car, but I just think maybe he's somebody who can just ride around and potentially get inside the top 20. And at $6,000, like if you get a couple fast laps, maybe on a pit cycle, he leads a lap or something. Like, I think he's somebody that could potentially be a good value in DFS this week.
I'm in on Austin Dillon this week.
Oh no.
Top 10s in 3 of his last 4. The one he didn't, he had an accident. He's been pretty solid here. Yeah, I'm in on Austin Dillon. I don't think he's going to be a rocket ship by any means, but I think he can be solid enough. I think he could be competitive, and I think based on where he's starting, like his price and stuff, like I think people are going to be jumping over him to get to Stenhouse, to get to Todd Gilliland, and I think that's a mistake. I think there's opportunity there. I think they all have the same ceiling, same floor, same potential for shenanigans.
I was just going to say it's dependent on what RCR shows up. Like, because we've seen it before where in the Cup Series, if they show up and they've got their shit together, like him and Kyle Busch are both going to be fairly competitive and they're going to be running inside the top 15 or finishing inside the top 15. But if they did not, and say qualifying, whatever, and then for race trim, they suck, like both of these cars are going to be absolute dumpster fires. So that's the only worry I have there.
Yeah, but it's Austin Dillon starting 6,700.
Yeah.
Not going to go overweight, but I think in this range he makes sense with Stenhouse, with Gilliland. The rest of the field: LaJoy, Haley, Burton, Zane Smith, SVG, Hamrick, Gralla, Ty Dillon, JJ Yaley, and BJ McLeod. If you want to go barf in the corner, I totally get it. But when you come back, anything there?
Let me just say that the RWR 15 car that Gralla is driving, they bring the most fire rims to the track every single week. Those freaking gold rims are fantastic, especially when you get to see them in person. Those things are sick. So that's the only thing they got going for them there. Gralla is not going to be good here. And then, most of these guys are going to struggle. Daniel Hemrick starting 23rd is an absolute no for me. I just don't know if he's going to be able to maintain. I would much rather pay up and get Haley, who's starting 1 spot or 2 spots in front of him in an RWR car, knowing how solid Justin Haley has been this season.
Yeah. Solid Rick Ware car. Go figure.
Yeah. 2 things you would have never said in the same sentence before. And then I do want to tell people, like, if you're looking at practice splits and you did not watch practice, it's important to keep in mind that during Group A, before they even got to 10 laps, I believe it was like lap 7 or lap 8 was when William Byron spun. And so they all had to stop. Red flag came out. They all jumped into the pits, and then they refired up for practice. So I think that's the reason why we see such a large difference in speeds in terms of lap averages and fast speeds and all that stuff from Group A to Group B. So just keep that in mind when you're looking at that stuff.
It's a really good point. Really, really good point. All right. The board is open. You have the tee. Go nuts.
Denny Hamlin. He's your least favorite guy, but dude's a machine.
Yeah, he's just too damn good at this track. At mile and a half in
everywhere
general,
right
fast tracks. So initially my head goes to Truex, but I'm wondering if we should go down one more spot to Elliott or go all the way to Tyrone.
You want to make this the Gibbs lineup?
No, I'm going to make it the Bell lineup.
Wow, you didn't even say it. Oh man. All right. So let's skip down to the bottom here. Let's go add Ricky Stenhouse so we can try to see what we can fit in here.
John Hutner.
All right.
And that gets us up here so we can go down a little bit and get like a Gragson, and that opens up even Byron or anybody else. Let's do this. We can go as high or as low as you want based on what we have left, because even if we go to Larson, that still gives us 6,700. So Hamlin, Bell.
Let's take the discount on Kyle Busch. Starting 15, because he's only 8K.
And that gives us Reddick, Truex, one of the RCR boys. I kind of like going to Busher, but that leaves a lot of salary on the table.
Sometimes that's good though. Like,
do we want to potentially upgrade this slot?
All right, let's see what we can even do.
Eric Jones, Josh Berry, Daniel Suarez.
Austin we could go with Austin Dillon. Yeah,
I think that's the move.
All right. Yeah, I actually like this a lot.
I like this lineup a lot.
Okay, and then I did want to mention this because they mentioned it on the broadcast during practice and qualifying multiple times, but I think it would be a mistake for us not to build a Bass Pro Shops lineup with Martin Truex Jr., Noah Gragson, and Austin Dillon all in a lineup, considering they're all driving a freaking Bass Pro Shop sponsored car on the same damn race. How does that work when they're all on three different teams?
You said Gragson, Truex, and who?
Dillon.
I mean, I like all three, so that's fine with me. Do we want to do more of a balanced build? We can put both RFK boys in here and see where that gets us.
I don't go up. That. The only thing is in that case, though, then I think really our ceiling play is Truex, and if he doesn't hit, then this lineup doesn't cash. Okay, I don't hate that. And then do both RFK guys.
Not like
no interest in Logano, my friend.
Wrong click.
Oh, good. Okay.
I don't hate the lineup. It's kind of sexy.
That is pretty good. I like that a lot. Bass Pro Shops for the win.
Gibbs early and Truex second dominator. Some mid pack options, some front movers. I like this lineup.
It's pretty good.
I like this lineup a lot. That was too easy. I don't know.
That was way too easy. Okay. All right. This might be a 4 lineup week.
Okay.
So I have an idea for this one.
Is this the Larson Byron one?
So this is the HMS lineup. Larson, Byron, Elliott. And then we build with back markers. like a Justin Haley possibly. I mean, this could be the Nemechek and like a Stenhouse or a Dillon.
I
Oh,
think
we
if we
could even
go
get Briscoe.
Gillen and then Briscoe. Unless you
Yeah.
want to go down to Dillon or Stenhouse.
Well, since we already have them multiple times, I mean,
Just
this
crush
week's gonna be hard, man, because there's a lot of good potentials.
There's also a lot of potential for carnage and nonsense to
Yeah.
happen and ruin all of our lineups. All right. Did you want to build a fourth one?
Yeah, I think we have to.
Who
All right,
is
you
the
UT us off here.
hmm?
UT off. Just not Logano, please.
Logano. I like Denny a lot. I don't like Denny,
Right.
but I like Denny a lot.
Damn, man. I was gonna say I feel like it's a mistake not to have any Ryan Blaney.
Oh, let's do it.
That's not terrible. Oh my gosh. All
Just
right,
putting in
and
some
then
placeholders just to get an idea of where we may be sitting.
okay, and then
Is this another Gibbs lineup?
so I like Bush again here. Just from this roster construction, I think Bush makes a lot of sense.
Brian confirmed a fan of Bush.
Bush. I mean, in that case, we might as well just add Bush. Sure.
We'd have to go to Gibbs though. We have to have a dominator, right?
Yeah, early, right?
Nobody starting near the front.
Yeah, but
I mean,
the thing though is like this thing could get flipped on its head early. Like say we're in the middle of a pit cycle of the first green flag pit cycle, and everybody who didn't pit early had stayed out.
we
They
could
put
also
everybody a
have
lap
Denny
down. Like
move up pretty quickly.
yeah.
I think this is the lineup.
That I like all these this week. So guaranteed none of these are gonna cash. That's
Shit week on deck.
yep.
All right. I will enter those in some contests. So let me just do it now while we're thinking about it.
Yeah, and let me just mention too, like because this is a week where there are so many guys that I like personally in DFS too. I have a really hard time of trying to pick like who I think is going to be the best car. Whereas the last few races, I've been able to like cherry pick the guy that I liked. Oh my gosh, you're gonna do a $12 entry?
Yeah, I'm gonna do the one we just created.
Woo! Kyle's getting crazy.
We're gonna get
here.
spicy. Let's get spicy. That's
Just
a
mine,
perfect
right?
single entry lineup. All right. Let's go look at odds. So just an update on kind of where our betting card sat before practice and qualifying. I have two outrights. I have William Byron at 10. I have Ross Chastain at 20. I also have Suarez for a top 10, KFB for a top 5, and Logano for a top 4. So Logano's probably cooked, but the other ones I feel pretty good about. You have Stenhouse top 10. Chris Bell top Toyota. William Byron over Tyler Reddick, which looks pretty good right now, and McDriver to top 10. Okay, as we sit, Larson plus 450, Hamlin plus 650, Truex at 7, Byron at 7.5, Tyrone at 9, Reddick at 10, Elliott at 10.
Wild.
Very balanced board this week. A lot of opportunity. Nobody's crazy short. besides Ty Gibbs.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, how can you bet Ty Gibbs at 9-1? Like, it just
I meant he's literally short, but yeah. So I guess who's jumping out to you? Anyone that if your betting card is empty or you're considering adding, is making a appealing case right now?
if this was a shorter race, I would be all over. Like Christopher Bell still at 12. I really liked him at 14 early in the week. I should have added it to the betting card because I actually bet it. I like him at 12. I might add that. The only difficulty is because we get that extra stage, there's just one more stage of possibilities of people wrecking and just chaos happening. So it's hard to get on those shorter numbers. So, looking at the odds boards now, man,
I think I'm gonna add Dennis at 7.
yeah.
So,
How do
sure
you
they're
not
gonna
bet
lose.
Denny every week at this point? Especially because he should be priced the same as Larson, in my opinion. It doesn't matter what the guy does in practice or qualifying. He doesn't care about that. He's open about the fact that they don't come here looking to light the world on fire during P and Q. Like, they're about Sundays, not about Saturdays.
Yeah. 8-1 on Byron, I think, is fine. You can get 10 on Tyrone.
Yeah, I'm not betting Gibbs at 10. That's for damn sure.
I do like that Chastain, despite not looking awful, is now
Yep.
25. I'm tempted to add another half a unit at 25.
I'm doing it. Truex at 8. I'm taking it.
Okay. Look at us going to the top of the board. I took Hamlin, you took Truex.
Now we got to wait for the manufacturer to win market because that just means we should be betting Toyota.
Yeah. Race props. Toyota plus 140.
I don't really hate that when you look at the outright board and you got Denny, Truex, Gibbs, Bell, and Reddick still up there, which I don't really understand how Reddick could be so high when, yeah, he was fast, but I mean, like, he has so much traffic to work through.
Yeah.
Like,
They
lot.
probably just took money on him, or they don't want to move him too much. I don't know.
Well, like, I don't know how many of our viewers who are probably not yet subscribed just hit the subscribe button, please. It's free and it helps us out a lot.
The 70% of you that are
Yeah.
watching every week and not subscribing.
Exactly. So in Reddick's case, you could bet 8-1 right now and watch this number balloon to 10 or 12 as soon as he has to do his pass-through penalty and he's a lap down early. So I would just wait and see how this race gets started. And once he does his pass-through and you get live odds and he's running 39th because he's the only car a lap down, the books have no choice but to open his odds up to double digits. Like, I don't see a world where they're going to keep it at 8 once the thing goes green.
I'm tempted just to like auto fire when they repost it like 22.
Yeah, exactly. Crazy. Yeah, because the books would not take any money on him if they didn't move it. And obviously they don't want to get too exposed, but in order to take more handle in, they're going to have to put it at an enticing number, which is what we got with Truex a couple of weeks ago at Kansas, where he should have won. So, the two are going to be similar. Oh my gosh.
Kyle Larson doubles 43-1. I'm adding it. Fuck it.
It's not happening. The only driver to top 10 in both races on the same day was Tony Stewart.
Yeah, but this is Kyle effing Larson.
Yeah, it's Kyle effing Larson, but like,
I mean, I'm not putting my life savings on it, but I will. I'll put a little shackle just to see what happens. There's no way to bet of digging yourself out a hole outside of a 43-1 double win parlay.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what else I could do? Let me see. Oh, did they just take it?
It's like they took. Oh, there you go.
There we go. I was like, what just happened?
Oh, come on. I don't think. Okay, I know this is a NASCAR show, and I hate hashtag race to turn one, but Max Verstappen's starting 6th at Monaco. If he wins
Yeah.
that race, that's going to be something.
Yeah. Verstappen's probably not the right one.
Yeah, because if anybody knows anything about F1 and you've watched that before, there are no passing zones at
But
Monaco.
Leclerc, do we like? I mean, if you want to talk about a fucking bed shitter, Charles Leclerc shits like he needs like Pepto Bismol. He shits
Listen,
so much.
F1 is all about appeasing whatever big money people they are. Ferrari's the home team here, basically. Let Leclerc win. That's what's going to happen. A Ferrari's going to win this.
Let's see. So Leclerc, Piastri, Sainz, Lando. Lando's been fire. I might just bet Lando at 10-1. I know
Where's he
nobody.
starting now?
Majority
It's
of
like
our
fourth.
NASCAR people are probably like, "Why are they still talking about F1?" But
Yeah. No,
Monaco
if
is.
they were anything like me, they'd be like, wait, where's Leonard Hamilton? Or what the hell is his name?
Oh shit. Okay, I might do some digging afterwards. Okay.
Yeah. It's nothing
Any.
like NASCAR where it doesn't matter. You start on the pole or not. That doesn't mean you're going to win the race.
Oh yeah, no. You could be the best car for 90 miles and then all of a sudden just crash.
Exactly. Or somebody else can crash and then it ruins
Yeah.
your day. Ooh, Superbook has matchups. I think we should look at those real quick before we get out of here. I know we don't normally do that, but
Give you a little taste. Come check out the Substack, AOP podcast.substack.com. Brian and I will be writing that after we get done here with more bets, our full betting card, more thoughts on DraftKings. That is also completely free to subscribe to. It costs you nothing, does a lot for us. So please subscribe, hit the thumbs up button here, then go over there, subscribe, get it in your inbox every race day for free. If you want to contribute to the podcast, you're more than welcome to, but it is not a requirement. And honestly, don't feel like you have to, even in the slightest. But if you feel like, I appreciate what you guys are doing and you want to go a little bit above and beyond just clicking subscribe, which does tremendously help us, you could consider doing that. Dennis plus 105 versus Larson is pretty interesting. Hamlin minus 130, Hamlin minus 130. Hamlin
I don't
minus
hate
130.
betting Truex at plus money against Denny, but then
Yeah.
you're betting against like the best in the sport.
Well, and then Reddick's the same as Truex, which is interesting.
Who do you trust more, Martin Truex Jr. or Tyler Reddick?
Martin Truex Jr.
Exactly. Like that, those odds don't make any sense.
But yeah, but Reddick, I mean, that just tells you, I guess, how much time he has to make up.
But talk about his ceiling. Like obviously, if he puts a whole full race together, which he's only done like twice,
Yeah,
with 2311,
I'm gonna get on Chris Wormy about that tomorrow in the pre-race poll because that's make it make sense, Chris. Make it make sense.
Yeah.
Byron versus Truex. I like Byron there, minus 110.
Ooh, show bet.
Sure.
Show bet.
Throw it on the card. Byron versus Reddick. You can get Truex versus Reddick at minus 110.
Yeah, I do.
You can get Blaney at plus 110 versus Chase, plus 100 versus Seabell.
Elliott's just been really solid.
Brad K versus Chase.
Ooh, I think Elliott's smashing that.
Yeah, minus 135 though.
Yeah, that's a little pricey.
Busher plus 130 versus Tyrone.
That's gonna be difficult. Backup car starting in the back versus a guy starting on pole. Like,
yeah, I mean Chastain's plus money versus Busher, which I think is interesting. Chastain's plus 140 against Tyrone. KFB minus 140.
How do we not get a Kyle Busch versus Ricky Stenhouse Jr. post qualifying?
Yeah, those are
Like, come
gone.
on.
Brad K plus 110 versus Blaney. Interesting. All right. Make sure you smash the like button. Make sure you hit subscribe. Make sure you come check out the Substack. Check out Chris Wermey's pre-race poll if you want a little extra entertainment / information right before the race starts. The betting card as it sits right now. I have Byron at 10. I have Chastain at 20. I have Suarez at plus 440 to top 10. I have KFB top 5. Logano top 4, which is already probably cooked, but that's fine. I added the Hambone at 7. The Larson double at 43 to 1. And then our show bet is Byron versus MTJ over on Superbook. Brian has MTJ and is that your only outright as of now?
Yeah, I told you I like Bell at 12 a little bit, but
Yeah. Okay, well, check out the Substack. There may or may not be another outright added. Brian has Stenhouse top 10, Bell top Toyota, Byron over Reddick, McDowell top 10, and Byron over MTJ as a show bet. So yeah, we'll fill out our betting cards. It'll be in the Substack, as well as some more thoughts for DraftKings, as well as all of our links to our episodes and other random nonsense. Brian Twining, it was good to chat. It was good to catch up. Let's cash some winners tomorrow. Let's hit
long
some
race.
Let's hit some winners on DraftKings. Yeah, it's a long race, so try and get something in the morning. Go get some exercise. Go do something fun. Get out, clear your head, because it's going to be a long, long day. Get those Tyler Reddick to win the race bets in when the race starts. For Brian Twining, I'm Kyle Robert. Have a good Sunday. Cash some tickets, and we'll talk to you next time.